Hello everyone, how's it going? And welcome to this Wild Rift guide for the brand new champion Vex. She's a mid lane mage. She's a very cool champion that likes to go in, fear enemies, and also she's really good at disengaging at the same time. So if you're against any sort of assassins like Fizz and Zed, she's a great counter to any of those champions. She's really good at jumping in, fearing, doing a lot of AP damage as well. In this guide, I'm going to show you the best build, the go-to combos, all the abilities and everything as well. So first up, let's take a look at her abilities. And first up, we have her passive, which is Doom and Gloom. So every few seconds, Vex becomes afflicted with Doom, causing her next basic ability to interrupt dashes and fear enemies for just over 1 second. Now you can see this with just underneath her mana bar. You see that red little bar that fills up. So when I use an ability, it will fear the next person that I hit, and then you can see it charges up over time as well. And as it charges up, then your next ability after that will be able to fear the target. So it's always very important with Vex to time your ability. So now the passive is up. Now you can see everyone is feared around. So that's really important. And whenever a nearby enemy champion dashes or blinks, Vex marks them with Gloom for a few seconds, which means Vex's next attack against a gloomed enemy champion deals additional magic damage and reduces this ability's cooldown by 25 seconds, so 25%, sorry. So that means that if someone like I mentioned, a Fizz, a Zed, anyone dashes onto you, Lucian, anyone like that, Renekton, I can think of so many champions that have dashes. If any of them dash towards you, if you auto attack them, that means you're going to deal extra damage to that champion. You'll see a little icon above the champion when you know that they do have the Gloom above them. And then non-champion targets take a percentage of damage and refund 10% of the abilities cooldown. So as I mentioned, if anyone dashes, then you can see it, but all of your abilities except for your ultimate are able to fear. As you can see, you can do this huge massive AoE fear as well with your second ability. Now your first ability is Mistral Bolts. Now Vex launches a wave of mist that deals magic damage, and after delay the wave becomes smaller and faster, and it consumes gloom on enemy hit. So it's a really, you can see it starts, the projectile starts off big, and then as it starts off big, it goes smaller and it goes quicker. So if you want to reach them right on the edge, you can go bigger into smaller, and it will be really, really quick. Most of the time you just want to hit it right at the start, because that means that it will just hit quicker, and it'll be when you're closer. Sometimes it's really difficult to hit when enemies are chasing away from you, and obviously the feared version you can use in any part of the first ability, even like right at the end if you need to. So if you want to hit a long range first ability to hit your fear, you can do that and then fear them away. But obviously fear means that they're going to be running away from you, so you have to make sure that you combo all your abilities together, which I'll show you a little bit later on. Now second ability is Personal Space, which Vex gains a shield for a few seconds and emits a shockwaves that deals magic damage. Now this is the great thing that you can do when playing against assassins. So say for example a Zed jumps on top of you, a Fizz, anyone like that, you just use your second ability, and if you have your fear available, you're going to be able to fear that assassin straight away. So that means you can combo all your abilities and do a lot of damage when they're jumping on top of you. So when you're playing assassins, you have to make sure you be careful when you play against Vex or any sort of bruiser or anyone like that against Vex. Obviously, you saw it before, but when I use my second ability, I can fear everyone away. And as you can see, you get a huge, massive shield as well at the same time. So it's really, really cool ability to use against assassins. You have Looming Darkness, which is your third ability. Now Looming Darkness is actually a very important ability, especially for your combos. This is kind of your long range fear that you want to try and hit at range. Vex commands Shadow to fly to a location, and upon arriving it deals magic damage and slows the enemies by 45% for a few seconds, and it applies Gloom when the enemy is hit. So if I use the third ability, it applies Gloom, and then you can use your auto attack to deal extra damage afterwards when it applies Gloom, as you can see. So when I use my third ability, you can see the little icon above, the little bright blue icon, that is the Gloom effect. So that's what you see like when enemies dash as well. So when you auto attack, you can see I can deal extra damage. Use my third ability again, I get Gloom, and I can use my auto attack. So it's a really great way, especially in the early game, to trade against enemy champions. So you can just third ability, first ability and auto attack, and you get an easy proc of electrocute as well. So it is very, very nice. And then enemies feared by this ability move away from the center rather than from Vex, and the size of the affected areas area increases the further Vex casts away from herself. So this is really important with your third ability. So you can see here how the area of effect is quite small. As I push it away, you can see that actually it's going to be even bigger in radius. You can see closer to me, smaller radius, further away, bigger radius. And as it mentions, it will go towards, it will veer towards the center of the third ability. So say for example here, instead of going further away from Vex in a way. So you have to make sure that you can aim your third ability kind of towards you, so that they get fed towards you. And then also, it also depends on the cast time as well at the same time. So your third ability, when you activate it closer to you, it will activate quicker. As you can see, if I activate on top of myself, it's instant. If I use it further away, there's a little bit of a channel time before it actually detonates. So keep that in mind when you use your third ability. The further away, the bigger the radius, but it takes a while to cast. Obviously, the closer to you, the less radius it's going to be. The instant cast is going to be instant cast straight away. Now your ultimate is the call ability. This is where you can really combo your abilities. So your shadow surges forward, dealing magic damage and marking the first enemy champion hit. Now this is important because it will go through Rift Herald, it will go through jungle camps or anything. It will only hit the first champion hit. When you recast it, you dash towards the marked target, dealing even more damage. If the marked target dies within 6 seconds of taking damage from this ability, and the ability is temporary resets, that means you can dash around multiple times during a team fight. So as you can see, it's quite a big ultimate range, as you can tell, like a very, very big ultimate range. So what you want to do, you want to use your ultimate, and then after your ultimate, you can go towards them, instantly use your second ability. And as you can see, like you instantly fear when you use your second ability. So it's really, really nice. So you can just use ulti, and then when you have your fear fully stacked, you just go in, boom, fear straight away. And then you can combo all your abilities on top of that. So it's really, really cool ultimate. And then obviously you can reset multiple times. You can just dash towards multiple targets during the entire fight, which is very, very cool. Might take a little bit of time to get used to, but it's very, very cool ability. Right, let's talk about combos. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, this will also go through Rift Heralds and everything. So even though it hits the Rift Herald, it will go through them. The same with dragons as well. You can get vision of the objectives, but it won't actually hit it. So you can't, it doesn't mark them. You see, it doesn't mark them. So I can't actually dash to it. So I have to activate it again. Right, let's talk about combos. So when you're in melee range, most of the time with your combos, you want to use your second ability first for your combos. I mean, this is very rare to happen, but this is if assassins jump on top of you, you can just go second ability, first ability, third ability, auto attack. It's a very, very easy combo if there's enemy champions within melee range. But if they're further away, then most of the time you want to use your third ability first. You want to use your third ability, auto attack, and then Q auto attack. That's a basic one, you know. Third ability, auto attack, Q auto attack. Whoops. I auto-attacked the wrong ally there. But it's really important to make sure when you use your third ability that you auto-attack afterwards. And when you in your leveling order, your third ability is always the first ability that you're going to go for in the laning phase. Not only does this help with clearing minions, but this also helps with you blocking your gloom. So your third ability auto-attack, like just like that. Just like that. So you can see basically what you want to do with your third ability is that you want to use it as further away from you as possible, so they get feared towards you, and then you can use your abilities like that. So again, just bear in mind that your third ability will always fear away from the center of the circle and not fear away from you. So you can always use your third ability at range to fear enemies towards you, auto attack, Q, auto attack. Easy proc of electrocute. Very, very easy to use. Then your big combo is going to be, you know, basically using all your abilities together. So your third ability, Q, and then you can dash in with your third ability like that. Wait, let me take off cooldown so you can see. Take off this. So what you can do is you can use your third ability Q, ulti, and then as soon as you ulti in, boom, you just use your second ability. Huge, massive burst combo that you can deal. As you can see, I did like 7,500 damage there in a short amount of time. So a very, very easy way to get your full damage off. So third ability, Q, go in with your ulti, and then use your second ability. So 3,600 damage, not too bad that time. But yeah, very, very cool way to just be able to use your full combo. I think that's the main thing with Vex, is using your combos effectively and making sure that you use the right combos at the right time. Most of the time you start off with your third ability. Depends on how it goes. Right, that is everything for combos. Let's quickly take a look at the leveling order. As I mentioned, at level 1, you want to start with your third ability. This will help you get an easy electrocute proc off in the early game. If you can land it easily on an enemy champion, it will fear them towards you, so you can just auto attack easily twice and then proc electrocute in the early game. So that's why you always run electrocute as well. And then at level 2, you want to go for your first ability, and you actually want to make sure that you max your first ability first. Even though you go for your third ability at level 1, your first ability is one of your main damage sources, obviously making sure that you don't miss out your ultimate at level 5. Then you want to max your second ability, and then after that you want to max your third ability. So that is the order of leveling that you want to go for. So yeah, I mean, I quite like Vex. I think Vex is a very, very cool champion that you can play. Like I said, all to do with combos and everything, all to do with, you know, anti-assassin in a way. And I think it's very cool to have a champion that has the long range snipe, and if you dash in, you can just fear everyone around you. You can get some really cool clips. So hopefully I might see some cool clips from everyone. Let me quickly show you the build. So this is the build as well now for Vex. You go for Luden's Echo first item, because it's such a strong item, not only for Vex, but for pretty much any AP champion, which gives you so many good base stats, ability power, maximum mana, ability haste. The Distorted Echo also helps you with wave clear in the early game, also helps you do a little bit of extra damage to champions if you do need it. Then you got Death Cap to increase your overall ability power by 40% and also give you a huge massive burst of ability power. Boots, I think most of the time you'll just go for Ionian Stasis. So you just go for the Ionian boots and then build that into Stasis enchant. Stasis is really good because when you're going in with your ulti, if you fear everyone around you and if you do your combo, then you can use your Stasis and then you can kind of wait for the rest of your team to back you up afterwards, because you're going to do a huge massive amount of burst damage. So it's really, really nice. Then you go for Void Staff, huge amount of ability power and also magic penetration. You then have Infinity Orb, making sure that your abilities and empowered attacks critically strike for 20% bonus damage against enemies that are below 35%. Most of the time with your combo, you're going to be trying to one-shot someone, so the extra damage that you deal from Infinity Orb is very important. Also, you get the movement speed, the magic penetration, and also the crazy, you know, 85 extra ability power. Now your last item can be kind of flexible. I've gone for Leandri's Torment here, which is really good against tanks, but you can go for other items if you want to as well. You know, Morellonomicon can still be very, very good. You can go for, trying to think what else, like maybe Banshee's Veil. Cosmic Drive is also not that bad because of the extra movement speed that you can get. Or Crystalline Reflector against full AD champions is also very good if you want to go for that. But any one of these as a final item are completely fine. I think your core items are just Luden's Echo, Death Cap, and Void Staff. And then after that, you can kind of go flex whatever you want to go. As I mentioned, Electrocute is so important for Vex. Easy trades in the early game if you use your third ability correctly, and if you combo that with your first ability when you reach level 2, very easy to proc Electrocute. You can always proc Electrocute when cooldown is off, when the Electrocute is off cooldown. So really, really good for exchanging, really, really good for the extra burst damage because your combos are going to be very easy to hit. You then have Giant Slayer. This can be swapped around for a few other things. Gathering Storm if you want extra late game potential, late game damage. Triumph could also be really good because of your one-shot potential, or Giant Slayer. Again, I think it just depends on the situation of the game. Obviously, Giant Slayer is really good against champions that are building bonus health, so basically against tanks. Again, the next rune is very situational. Nullifying Orb is not too bad. I don't think Ultimate Shield is that great, because the problem with Ultimate Shield is that when you use Vex's first part of the ultimate, that's when the Ultimate Shield is going to proc. And if you don't land your ultimate, then it's kind of wasted in a way. And even if you land your ultimate, by the time you travel to the enemy champion with your ultimate, then the Ultimate Shield is probably already gone. So kind of no point. Bone Plating against assassins is very good. You get the shield obviously with your second ability when assassins jump in, and Bone Plating will also help you out with that. Hunter Titan's very good as well. Any one of these runes are very good. Again, it's just all situational. You know, Hunter Titan can be good against a lot of crowd control because you can get CC'd when you dash in, which is kind of a problem. So if you jump in with your ultimate and if you get binded by Lux, you'll still travel, but you'll get binded or you'll get rooted as soon as you land with your ultimate. So you have to be very, very careful with that. And then for the final rune, it's pretty much just Hunter Genius most of the time to make sure your abilities are on cooldown less. You can go for maybe Sweet Tooth if you want more laning phase pressure. I think most of the time Hunter Genius is better. And then for some of the spells, we want Flash and Ignite. But that is everything for Vex. Again, give her a try. She's a very cool champion. I think she'll fit very well in the meta at the moment because there's a lot of champions that have dashes. There's a lot of assassins in the meta at the moment, you know, the likes of Evelynn, Zed, Fizz, Katarina, Yasuo, Yone, all these champions that want to dash in and basically engage straight away. Vex is like the perfect disengage champion, and she has insane one-shot potential during team fights or even in 1v1 situations. So yeah, give her a try. Let me know what you think. Hopefully the combos and everything and my rundown helped you out. If it did, make sure you leave a like, comment on the video, and subscribe for more content coming very, very soon. So hopefully you enjoy, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next wild video. Peace.